Can we talk about Laine and his return last night?
Of course.
I'm a Leafs fan. I'm going to do Leaf shows. I was on Morning Take this morning, did Leafs
Yeah.
Nation After Dark, and the one thing I have to deal with from every corner of the internet is Scotiabank is a library. Well, one thing I'm permanently jealous of is how not
Yeah.
or how opposite Scotiabank the Bell Center is for
Yeah.
Les Habitants. And last night was no exception with Patrik Laine making his return and
Uh,
scoring a beautiful goal for the Habs there.
Gorgeous goal. It's a signature goal for Patrik Laine, but it wasn't just the goal too. Like you're always curious about like how a player is going to move when they come back. And watching that game against the Islanders yesterday, you're waiting to see the rust and the misstep and mishandling a puck or being behind on a play. Like we saw none of that from Laine at all. Um, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Patrik Laine. I always feel that every player is different. Every player needs to be treated differently. I think there's a standard that you set for your team, but you have to understand the personality of all of your players. The Winnipeg Jets, specifically under Blake Wheeler, like they ran that room really hot. Like I understand the idea like Sidney Crosby sets a work rate for the Pittsburgh Penguins that everybody has to follow, but it's very quietly he does that, and players are almost embarrassed not to try to live up to a standard that Crosby sets for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is why you could always make the argument that Crosby should always be in the conversation for the Hart Trophy because that's how important he is to that team. Just his example, and McKinnon's the same way in Colorado. Um, it's a standard that everybody has to follow. But the Wheeler Shifley leadership group of the Winnipeg Jets, when Patrik Laine was there, it didn't work out great for Laine. His personality was, let's say, much more laid back than a lot of Winnipeg Jets players in that room were ready for. And I'm not saying like they ran him out of town or ran him out of the room, but it really wasn't a fit for how that Wheeler group wanted to run the Winnipeg Jets and ultimately found himself with the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think one of the things that we all marvel about Patrik Laine is the shot. And much like Austin Matthews, I mean, these two guys are probably the best in the NHL at scoring from distance, which is one of the hardest things you can do. We all think about, and Smitty just mentioned the home plate area, where you shoot from and where you score most of your goals. Laine scores from outside the home plate area. Matthews scores from outside the home plate area. These are two of the elites. I know that Laine was, overwhelmed at the adulation from the thousands at the Bell Center. Let's play a clip here quickly, Zach, on Laine's reaction to how he was received at the Bell Center yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was like the most outrageous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's like I don't deserve this, like not at all. But no, it'll be something for sure. I'll remember forever. Like that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just getting that welcome, even early on when I came here from the fans and from the city overall, and now obviously coming back to playing, it was just pretty humbling. Like I said on the ice, and just
Zach, if you're like me, I know you're a Maple Leafs guy, dyed in the wool. I get it. But I don't cheer for teams. I cheer for players, and Patrik Laine is one of those guys that I cheer for. And the thing about Montreal Canadiens fans, and maybe that's why it kind of worked with Kovalev in Montreal, where there was like a frustration that a lot of fan bases had at someone like Kovalev. I know he could take games off, but when he was on, he was really on, and he was spectacular. Montreal Canadiens fans understand that type of greatness, that you're not going to get it every day, but when you get it, it's going to be special. And maybe that's one of the reasons why, Habs fans tend to cut a lot of high-end superstars a lot of slack, and they'll probably do so again with Laine. But it was just such a wonderful moment. They're just so happy to see Patrik Laine back and scoring and the Habs winning. I think we all looked at this season for Montreal and said I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team, but they're ready to take another step, and Laine is going to be a big part of it. And that's why the injury really burned and the losses started to pile up. I wish the best for Laine in this situation. I was really happy to see it, happy to see the goal, and I just think that the NHL is a lot better with Patrik Laine and players like him in the game. Good to see him named the Team Finland as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to be someone that I'm not. So I'm just going to be honest with you. I hope that Laine gets his back. I hope he gets his confidence back, because
Yeah,
seeing a shattered player sucks. Like it really, really does. And
totally.
seeing that from him last night, I thought was awesome. The post game interview actually like made me a little bit emotional to see that reaction, see the fans. Like that was really
It's
cool.
great.
But I hope Laine scores 50 and the Habs miss the playoffs, Jeff. I'm not gonna like lie to you here. That's the reality.
I understand,
Um,
young Leafs fan. I
yeah,
understand. I
yes.
understand. If you enjoyed that video, and we certainly hope that you do, please hit the subscribe button right there here at Daily Faceoff. I will put this lineup up against any hockey lineup anywhere. It all gets underway at 9 o'clock Eastern with Morning Cup of Hockey. That is Johnny Lazarus. That is Colby Cohen. Then at noon, it's DFO Live. And then 3 o'clock Eastern, The Sheet. Get caught up on everything in hockey.